The European Muslim ghettos, they house high concentrations of particular ethnicities. In one European country, it's mostly Pakistanis. In another area, it's mostly Moroccans. Not only do you have an underclass group, all speak the same language, they're all from the same region, so they can sort of build a unity. They feel very disconnected with the powers that be. And it's a great opportunity for the Al-Qaeda type groups to come in and farm for terrorists, especially amongst young males. Because young males typically have that rebellious angst where they're looking to rebel against something anyway. And if they happen to be poor, and they happen to be unified, and they happen to have no other hope, and they have great causes like Israel and Palestine and Iraq and Afghanistan, easy to initiate these people into terrorism. So we're going to see a lot more terrorism being born in places like England and France and Belgium. And a big part of it is the disconnect. We're allowing these groups to stay disconnected. We're allowing these groups to feel like a disconnected, unloved island. And that breeds more hate. We got to reach out to these people. We got to reach out to them or there's going to be more terror. Now let's move from the terror threat in Europe to the terror threat in America. First is the Mexicans. The Mexicans are very much like the European Muslims in the sense that they are socioeconomically poor. They're connected. They aren't connected in a rebellious way against America. They are connected in a way where they're really moving forward. They're making it in America. Mexicans, even though they clog up our court systems, they're taxing our system because they don't wear seatbelts, they don't get insurance, they get in a lot of drunk drivings. I mean, they don't get health care except for in the emergency room, so they cost us a ton of money, but they also are paying a lot of money because they are the backbone of our workforce. And I just gave you a whole bunch of stereotypes that aren't true for all Mexican Americans. The soundbite stereotypes, I do see a disproportionately high number of Mexicans in the court system. And Mexicans are less than a third of our population in our hometown. And almost everybody in the courthouse, almost everybody there was a Mexican. 3/4 of the people there needed a translator. That's enough to make a Tea Party person go, ah! But I know it just, that's what it is today. That's what's happening today. It's no bad reflection upon Mexicans, and there are plenty of Mexicans who are law-abiding, who are doing great. And sadly, a lot of these Mexicans that are caught up in the court system are caught up for reasons that are our fault. We won't allow them citizenship, so they can't get a driver's license, so they can't get insurance. And most of the guys who were in there were getting busted for not having a license or not having an insurance, and we don't even let them get it. So a lot of their problems have to do with the limitations we put on them, to be fair. Mexicans aren't a likely place for Al-Qaeda to come in and harvest terror cell initiates. At least I don't think it's a likely place, because Mexicans, for the most part, are integrating in society, and they're working, they're doing things, they're moving forward. I think it'd be pretty hard to find Mexican terrorists. Now the ghettos of the African Americans are a different story. The slums, the ghettos, the African American ghettos, there's a high crime rate, there's drugs, but they're not interested in rebelling against America. They're a disconnected group, and we've helped make them that way. That being said, the poor blacks are easy targets, they would be easy targets, to convert to Islam for militant Islamist activities. So look to see more people being farmed out of the African American ghettos. Now I want to talk to you about the American Muslim ghetto. The American Muslim ghetto can live in the mind of any Muslim. American Muslims have a higher standard of living, and they live in a high socioeconomic status in America for the most part. So they don't live in slums. But American Muslims are often treated poorly, or have a perception that Muslims are hated. They feel disconnected from the society in which they live. And every time someone who's not a Muslim attacks them, verbally, written, the internet, whatever, it helps build in their heads a ghetto mentality. So there's a whole group of American Muslims who are angry with America, and they're upset about the way they're being treated by Americans. They don't feel safe going out because they get sneers and dirty looks. They feel unsafe. They feel unloved. The ghetto is building in their individual minds. They are prime targets for Al-Qaeda and any militant Islamic group, because not only do these young people have hatred and anger and they want to do stuff, but because they come from a higher socioeconomic status, They're more empowered and more able to do things. They can afford airline tickets. They're smart, they're educated. They're the most dangerous people you're going to have to watch out for. And the way to stop these mental ghettos from being built is be nice to Muslims. Be kind to everybody. It's that simple. We can stop, for the most part, the militant, extremist, Islamist movement by simply, "Hi, how are you? You're a Muslim? Nice to meet you. I'm not a Muslim. I don't hate you. Hi." Remember Columbine, the Columbine massacre? A couple of angry students went on a homicidal terrorist rampage, killing their classmates. Those two students, although they had money, their families had money, they were living in a mental ghetto. And together, they got together and killed off the other students. Any one of those popular students in the entire school could have stopped this anytime throughout the years by simply including these two kids, showing them a little love, showing them a little kindness. The school all agreed to allow these two young men and others to become outcasts, black sheep in the community. And they never felt safe. And if anybody at school doesn't feel safe, nobody at school is safe. We've proven that. You make Muslims feel unsafe, you, us, we all will be unsafe. So as you travel around being cruel to Muslims, keep in mind as you do that, you're making your life less safe, my life less safe. You're killing Muslims and you're killing Americans. This is how Westerners kill other Westerners, by helping breed and make mental ghettos in the heads of young Muslims. A lot of times you'll talk to people who are non-Muslims who've lived in Muslim countries. They hang around in America and they've got American friends. And some of them will say, "Man, when I was in this one country, this Muslim country, the Muslims were so cruel to us. They would say horrible things. They would call us names. I hated Muslims for the longest time because of it." So, if you're a Muslim and you live in a Muslim country, you live anywhere where you're interacting with non-Muslims, if you're being cruel to non-Muslims anywhere in the world and you're a Muslim, you're helping breed hatred over here in the West and in other places where people come back and they say, "You know what, the Muslims treat non-Muslims so badly that it's okay for us to treat them badly." So we have a role in it. We all have a role in this. If you're a Muslim and you're treating non-Muslims badly anywhere, you're helping breed the circle of terror for everybody. Same goes with American non-Muslims. If you're an American non-Muslim and you're treating Muslims badly, you're helping breed and perpetuate that circle of terror. It's on all of us to treat everybody nice, to treat everybody kind. So if you think you're in a little village and you're a Muslim and you happen to have just called some American tourist or some Christian Lebanese person, whoever it is, you call them a bad name or give them an unfair deal, treat them badly, abuse them, it's going to come back around. They've got friends and family in the West. And they're going to hear. And it's going to help justify further oppression of Muslims. So you as a Muslim can make life tougher on Muslims as well. You know, I've had a thought lately that a lot of societies, every society I can think of has this underclass. And they berate them and they talk badly about them. Some of us want this lower echelon of society to be ashamed of themselves. But the reality is, it's upper class, it's the high society who should be ashamed. We should be ashamed of ourselves that ghettos exist. Because we could stop ghettos from happening. And a long time ago, we went in and we drew the lines and we put up the fences and we put up the walls and the barriers. We extracted their natural resources and gave them pennies on the dollar. And in time, we had everything. We had the best land, all the money, all the resources. Now they're all in ghettos. I think if there's a God, God would somehow want us to tear down the walls and tear down the fences and take our excess and share it with everybody. It should be our cosmic responsibility, our humanitarian responsibility to educate them, to show them love and to understand that every single society has these groups. They exist because of an imbalance that we take advantage of. So I'll ask you, who is the parasite? I have enough stuff to feed an entire village. If we all agreed to give it all away, to balance things out, I'd do it. But I'm not giving it away yet. If I give it away, it'll just disappear. It'll get squandered.